Are you struggling to understand how to make your mixes sound better when it comes to mastering? It was so difficult for me to hear what I had to do, what decisions to make, how to attenuate, how to excite, and making sure not to damage all the hard work that I've done during production and mixing. I watched so many videos here on YouTube where creators explain the chain using EQ, compressor, dynamic EQ, exciter, but each song requires different processing, so I was wondering, how can I make those important decisions on the tune I'm working on? So if you are in the same situation, then you are in the right place, because the secret I'm gonna reveal will change your perception, and after this video you'll be able to do mastering on your own. So right off the bat, what is mastering? Mastering is the final stage of audio production, the process of finishing touches on a song by enhancing the overall sound. I would say adding the last 5% of the work. And the keyword here is enhancing. And this is where many engineers get it wrong. Common problem that engineers have by not doing the right thing for enhancement, and they ruining the mix. The reason why mastering is so important, because this can make the difference between your song to another song you are listening on streaming services. And you want to have your song perceived loud, clean, wide, and consistent across all the platforms. And if you have a well-mastered song, that potentially can bring you more listeners. So common mistakes I hear on mastered songs: overstressed maximizer causing pumping effect, losing dynamics or distortion. Overused imager plugin causing phase problems, and mixes don't have that final glue caused by executing the compression wrong. Okay, so now it's time for the first secret technique of mine that will increase your chances to have better mastering. Before we do anything, I do recommend you to test a couple of limiters and pick the one which is the most transparent. Now it might seem to you not too interesting, but to fully understand the method we need to start here. I have these two maximizers here and I pull up a metering plugin and I'm gonna push one of them to the maximum, and when it starts to distort or ruin the quality, I'm gonna dial it back a little bit. So ozone is off now. I'm gonna use FGX2.
Dime dónde quieres, con un mensajito, dime que me quieres. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Dile que siempre estoy ahí. Pienso, solo soy menso para.
So now let's turn this off and let's use a similar setting on the ozone and keep an eye on the metering plugin.
Con un mensajito, dime que me quieres. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Dile que siempre estoy ahí. Pienso, solo soy menso para ti.
For this tune, FGX2 given a pretty punchy, transparent feeling. So for this tune, I'm gonna go with that. And now it gets very interesting. So this part of the video is very important to understand. Now we decided the limiter with the technique I just showed you. We arrived to the second secret technique of mine. And this will largely enhance your ability to make better decisions and better sounding songs. For this purpose of the video, I'm gonna use ozone. So let's assume you have a good amount of headroom and you have a good mix. I often see tutorials from engineers that they have the limiter here on 0 and then they start the processing obviously before the limiter, which is not necessarily wrong, but if you are not an experienced engineer, how can you hear what they hear, especially if you are on a different system? You can say, let's turn the volume up on your device, but if the limiter is not engaged, it's gonna be still a bad perception. So now stay tuned, are you ready? Now that we have the right limiter, let's get that loudness first, and then we're gonna do the processing.
Dime dónde quieres, con un mensajito, dime que me quieres. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Dile que siempre estoy ahí. Pienso, solo soy menso para ti.
Okay, we arrived to a loudness that's causing the limiter to react. So we can hear clearer what this song needs. But stay with me because we are not finished yet. So what do we do now? You can ask the question, how it sounds to you. Do you want it to be cleaner, wider, louder, more lows, more glue? But remember, you don't want to do too much because this is the last 5% of the work. And we are not fixing things here, we are only enhancing. So let's do the processing and making quick decisions.
Dame una ratito, dime dónde quieres. Pon un mensajito, dime que me quieres. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Dile que siempre estoy ahí. Pienso, solo soy menso para ti. Y no la encuentro, en la calle no la encuentro. En la calle no la miro, con cualquiera tirar tiro.
We added EQ, compressor, exciter, imager, but using them subtle. And if we did this right, we have still a little bit of room left here to push the maximizer further.
Mensajito, dime que me quieres. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Nos vemos escondidas, no. Dile que siempre estoy ahí.
Okay, so now that it sounds clean and loud, you're probably wondering what was my logic behind the processing chain. Oh yeah, so if you want to know that, then make sure you watch this video next, where I go through with you step by step on my mastering chain. See you there.